of as being 1996.
I don't recall anybody being identified in a photo lineup.
Okay. Now, your testimony was that you were the primary detective on this case originally.
Myself and Mike Franks, we didn't really have a lead, but yeah.
All right. You drew the short straw basically on this one, right?
I guess I'm the guy his name is all over everything, but yes.
Well, congratulations. Let me ask you this question, though. As a police officer, did you write reports of all of your activity that you did during the course of this investigation?
Anytime we did something, I did an officer's report. I know Mike Frank reports too, yes.
And would there ever be a time that you were handling this investigation that you of officer's report?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
No. If we'd had a trip, especially any trip we did out of state, anything where we went out and did anything, I had done an officer's report. Back in the day, apparently they do things a little different. Even if it was a warrant, we did officer's reports.
And as far as you know, based upon your knowledge of what happened to your file after you left, is the file complete in terms of your reports and what you did in this case?
When I left, it was, yes.
Is it now?
I don't know. I've never seen the case file, so I don't know what it looks like now. I've heard rumors.
Now, the district attorney's office had forwarded over to you some documents to help you with your preparation for testimony here today, right? Were those documents all of the officer's reports that you wrote while you were on this?
No.
Now, in addition to that, sir, you had testified a little bit about mentioned something about there was some information that Tupac and Suge Knight had both had rooms at the Luxor. Is that correct?
That's the information we had, yes, sir.
Okay. In addition to that, was there any video that was captured of the vehicles that had gone to the Luxor to pick up Tupac while he was at the Luxor?
I don't remember a specific video of the vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, there was hearsay of vehicles, but I don't remember specific videos.
Now,
off the top of my head, I don't know.
Right. And because you were the lead detective, of course, you're accumulating all of the information that's being gathered, sometimes from other police officers in furtherance of your investigation, right?
Yeah, if it's given to me, yes, and it's put into the case file, yes.
Right. And so with regards to the Luxor incident, you learned and it put into your officer's report that Tupac Shakur was picked up with some people, looks like around 10 o'clock at the ballet. Do you recall that?
And I don't think I did an officer's report reference the ballet. No.
I have a document here. Looks like your signature is at the bottom as the officer.
If you can show it to me, like I said, I've seen some documents from this that I don't recall, but if you have it, show it to me. I'd be happy.
Can we run it over for you right now?
Yeah, if you can show it to me.
Let me do this.
Recall it.
Now, I believe that we had submitted some documents for your review as well. Do you recall the documents that we reviewed?
I remember, because I remember you showing me a document from LA that I didn't remember too. So,
right.
But it's been a while. So.
This would be titled the Murder or Attempt Murder Supplement. Do you recall that document?
Okay. Wait a minute. Is this a report with beard on it?
Correct. That's right.
Oh, okay. That report. Now I remember that report. Yes.
And I apologize if I wasn't clear enough.
Okay. I remember that report. Yes.
And in that report, for instance, there was discussion about the number of vehicles to pick up Tupac, and one of the vehicles that was there was a Cadillac that was white with 4 black males in it. Do you recall that?
Correct.
Okay. So the way we're looking at it right now is Tupac comes out of the Luxor. He gets picked up in a long caravan of cars. This car is a white Cadillac with 4 black males in it. Right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's based upon your investigation.
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, we talked a little bit about the pen registers. Can you explain to the jury what a pen register is?
Pen register isn't the same as a pen register is more or less you're getting a number and you're
So
it's not quite the same as you're recording phone calls and listening to them, where in that particular case, you actually have people in a room and they're actually listening to calls, and if the call is not pertaining to your investigation, you're supposed to turn it off and not listen to it. It's something that's not pertaining to it. And that a pen register is more or less information to record calls. It's able to assist you in your investigation if it turns out to be something that's valuable. That was the intent.
right.
When we did the pen register, we never got to do it because we did the pen register. You have to file it with the county, and lo and behold, the next day it was in the newspaper. So basically, it was a waste of time.
Well, I mean, for instance, the pen register would be you would target someone's phone number, right? And so
Correct. That was the.
And the pen register would record the numbers that were either going to that phone number or that phone number making phone calls out.
That was the intent.
Now, in this case, can you tell us, for instance, what Keefy D's phone number was at that particular time?
I couldn't tell you.
And with regards to the phone records that we had, there were some numbers that were either from Monte Carlo, and I don't know if it was from the Luxor, but do any of those phone numbers register back to a pager? Because this is 1996, right? So it's got to be a pager, or maybe, I don't know what was around 1996 besides the pager.
I believe those phone numbers were actually the phone numbers to the hotels themselves.
Right. And so outside of that, we don't have any fact that Keefy D's pager or phone number was either dialed to or received in from either the Luxor or the Monte Carlo, is what's been shared here today, right?
Not on those calls, sir.
Now, in addition to that, you had mentioned as well the search warrants that occurred in Compton. Now, these search warrants that occurred, fair to say that they also they were doing these search warrants to try to retrieve arms to help quell or to suppress any potential violence in Compton. Is that the reason or purpose for those search warrants?
I don't know what it was. Their search warrant. I can't tell you what the purpose, other than my understanding was there was an arrest warrant for Orlando Anderson. All that other stuff, that's Compton's thing.
Yeah.
It was their search warrant.
And in terms of that search warrant, the results, or was Keefy D's house or residence in Compton searched as well?
I don't remember. I'd have to. The return had so much information on there. I'd have to sit there and look at it again. I just don't remember right off the top of my head if Keefy D's house was on that return or not.
No worries, sir. And in terms of your investigation, did you ever have to deal directly with Reggie Wright Jr.?
The only face-to-face, and it would have been brief, would have been at Compton when he brought Malcolm Greenidge in, but I don't think there was any talk. And the reason we probably didn't talk to him was because his dad was a lieutenant at Compton.
And what did that mean to you as to why you wouldn't talk to him because his dad was a lieutenant?
Right, wrong, or indifferent, our feeling was, well, if your dad's a Compton lieutenant and you're the head of Death Row Records, I just have a problem with the communications line there. Maybe I'm being distrustful on that. I just worry about what's being said between the two parties.
Were you aware during the course of your investigation that Reggie Wright Jr. instructed his people to lie to you?
I was told later on by Frank Alexander that he said that, yes.
In addition to that, we had talked a little bit about the video footage that was captured at the MGM. Did you at any point, when you looked at that video footage, observe or see Dwayne Davis, Keepy D in that surveillance video?
No.
And then finally, your recollection is, so you wake up in the morning, you get the call, you arrive on scene, and when you get there, you had said, this might be an old Nevada thing, but everyone skedaddled before I got there. You remember saying something like that? Did you, during that time period, ever observe a white Cadillac sitting there waiting for somebody inside to talk to either yourself or any other police officers about what happened at the scene?
No.
And then finally, you had mentioned a little bit about Suge Knight, and you had said that you believe he was timid or afraid when he showed up with 3 attorneys to talk to you.
Yeah, I think he was rather timid, yes.
Sure. And it would be fair to say, of course, that you don't know why he was timid, right? I mean, he's walking in with 3 attorneys. Is he worried that he's going to get caught doing something wrong, or is he there because he's worried about something else? You don't know, right?
I don't know why he was. It's just I'm sitting there thinking, one, why the victim showing up with 3 attorneys? That was just an odd thing to me.
Right. Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Any redirect, Mr. Duckman?
Free.
Okay. Of course.
All right, Detective. I'm going to jump in here just a little bit with you. Hold on one second while I get ready so that we can share, sir. And of course, now I can't get that thing to come up so I can share the screen because it doesn't work. I found it. Here we go. I want to start with an aerial that's been admitted as. I'm going to put it up for you here.
Okay, yeah, now I do.
So, your understanding is that Suge and the entourage were coming down this way. 662 club.
Yes, Flamingo towards Cobalt, yes.
And after the shooting, what's your understanding is what? It's 662, correct? Understanding as
my understanding is once the shooting happened, they made a U-turn, went westbound on Flamingo, southbound on the boulevard, Las Vegas Boulevard, and Harmon. That's where they came to a stop.
and it wasn't just Mr. Knight's vehicle that was at that location. There were a number of other cars that were part of the entourage that remained at the scene for photographing. Is that correct?
My understanding, because obviously Frank Alexander and the other three gentlemen were there, so their car must have been there. If Kevin Woods got talked to, and I think there was somebody else, so I'm guessing their car was there. If there were other cars there, no one said anything about it. So I don't know how many. Remember the car that Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur were in was there in the intersection.
Right. And two of the wheels have been blown out from hitting a curb.
And the rims were banged up from going over the median of the Flamingo.
So, and then the entire crime scene would have been taped off by initial patrol officers, correct?
Yeah, I remember the street was pretty well taped off from what I recall.
And when they put crime scene tape up around the entire area they're trying to protect, whether or not the people that were in those vehicles stayed at that location, there are more than one vehicle that's taped off in this scene. Would you agree with that?
It should be. It should be taking off a wider area than a smaller area. It's easier to come in than to go out.
So this is going to make me kick me back in and out every time, but let's get through this.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're going to tape off an area, you'd rather make it bigger than start smaller, because it's easier to enclose it than to start small and make it wider, because once you've made it small, you got looky-loos, everybody coming in. It's tough to get people out then.
So now I'm going to share this photograph. That's the rear of Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight's vehicle, or at least appears to be, correct?
This is at the scene, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I see the tape in the distance, okay. And then,
that's exhibit number 6.
okay, is this on the boulevard?
I believe the testimony is that this vehicle is Las Vegas Boulevard in Harmon.
Okay, I see the black and white up ahead just because I see the reflective from the door.
I'm going to go through exhibit number.
What's that white car?
Well, we're going to go through all of these in
Okay,
just a second. Of course, I got to do this the hard way. So now I'm going to show you number 20. Give me a second. I don't know why this thing won't roll up for me when it's photographs. There's obviously a different black BMW that's inside. If you look real close on the right side.
Okay. Okay.
There is 22. Oh, I'm gonna click out of this.
I'm guessing that license plate report, so.
Just click through. That's 23. Now we're looking at 24. My screen. There's a black Lexus within the crime scene tape.
Okay.
Stop sharing.
So all those cars that are in that line to the side is just regular traffic then going by, I take it.
Then within the tape, this is State's Exhibit number 24. There's a silverish Mercedes.
Okay. So is Kevin Woods is probably in at least one of these.
And then 26. There. 26. Also in the tape, there's white. I think you're really close down here, which I don't know if I can do on here.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do this. There you go.
It's probably the license. Oh, it's
A Dodge Avenger.
a Dodge Avenger. Okay, and the license plate number. Because I remember on the original crime report, there are license plate numbers on vehicles, and I'd have to look at it to see what they match up to.
And then Mr. Sampt asked you questions about going to the Luxor.
Okay.
You recall those questions?
Yes.
Would it refresh your memory as to exactly what you found out at the Luxor to review that report that you generated?
Uh-huh.
Okay. There we go. Why is it not coming up? Share this one more time. Let's see if this works. There we go. All right. All right, here we go.
By Brian Beard, yeah. Okay.
So the beginning is just sort of a little paragraph that you wrote about what the investigation is about.
It's just a very brief synopsis about what happened the night of the shooting, yes.
Okay, did you talk to Brian Beard, who was working security at the Luxor?
Correct.
At about 10 p.m., he saw Mr. Shakur with a large group of people at the valet. Shakur and his group entered numerous vehicles and drove onto Las Vegas Boulevard around 10:30.
Right.
Beard recalls a black two-door Mercedes, a dark-colored Hummer, a two-tone van, and a black four-door Mercedes or BMW in the entourage.
Yeah, and the Hummer was supposed to be MC Hammer. I remember that.
And then you also talked to Angel Zavala.
Right.
He was working as well. His recollection of the vehicles were there was a white Dodge Caravan, a black Mercedes, and two other black vehicles. Two white vehicles were also behind the group. Zavala said he thought the last was a Cadillac or Buick with four black males, was what he reported.
Right. That's correct.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing further.
Any requests?
Just real quick, Detective Becker, with regards to that last line, the last line is that the last white vehicle was either a Cadillac or a Buick. Cadillac was a white Cadillac.
Correct. That's the way that's worded, yes.
All right.
Either a white Cadillac or Buick, yes.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, jury, any questions for this witness? Seeing no hands, thank you. You are excused. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, state, Any additional witnesses for today?
Will we approach them?
Come on. All right, we're going to take another 15-minute break while we try to get some Zoom things going. During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person in this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspapers, the internet, and radio, or form any opinion on any subject connected to the trial until it is submitted to you. We'll see you guys back 3:30. Please rise for the jury.
Attorneys to talk to you.
Yeah, I think he was rather.
We'll be in recess. Thank you, everyone.
Attorneys to talk to you.
Yeah, I think he was rather.
Now, it is nothing like what you've heard before.
Javon's a friend of mine, friend of ours. Like, not knowing Javon's in the class under me in school, and he's a friend of mine. But just like a lot of our other friends, Javon's our friend. He left the phone on the boat because we're trust people. We're not going to steal something. We're not going to delete pictures off of someone's phone. We're not going to delete text messages. We're not going to get on anyone's phone because we have no reason to. With no one out there. If we had any intention to hurt no one at the island, why would we do it on the 4th of July with thousands of people out there?
What's even more shocking is the complete change in the attitude. That earlier caution is gone. These same kids are now directly confronting Nolan's mother, questioning her statements with an attitude.
Salute to everyone in the building. Please make sure you hit that like button and please subscribe if you're new to this channel. This is Royal News TV coming at you live. Peace and blessings to everyone in the building. Please comment. Please participate in the chat. Please support this platform. And if you'd like to donate, my Cash App is pinned in the link. Please support. If you don't want to donate, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I'm not begging, just building up the platform. Peace and blessings to everyone, and I appreciate you. Yes, Diddy did it. Yes, look, let me tell you something, Johnny. I am a Tupac down to the core fan, and yes, I do believe he did it. Yes, indeed. And you know what? Guess what? You know what nobody don't like to talk about? Y'all remember that the shooter of Keefe D's nephew, y'all remember when they went up to the courthouse and gave them like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000? Y'all remember that? I want to know if anybody in the chat remember that. Does anybody in the chat remember that? Say something. I'm waiting. Say something. Somebody got to say something. Did he do it? We got 300 in the building. Please, we should have over 100 likes, y'all. We should have over 100 likes. Please, please hit the like button. Come on, y'all. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button, y'all. Don't be scared. I'm not begging for no money. Yes, he did, Pie. Yes, he did, Pie. Please hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button, y'all. It's now, I'm trying to leave it off of subscribe. You know, in fact, let me just go ahead and put it up. Because y'all hard-headed. Y'all don't want the like button or anything. That's not fair. Y'all don't like to hit the like. What's up? What's going on? And on. I don't want to mess up your name. What's up? No. From UK. We shout out to UK, y'all. Shout out to UK. They have taken a break. Tupac murder case trial. So we are waiting. Right now, I'm gonna put on the Nolan Wales situation. So we're gonna listen to a little bit of the Nolan Wales, and until they put back on the trial. Right now they are taking, I believe, a 15-minute break right now. So I'm gonna put on a little bit of Nolan Wales and see what's going on over there. So y'all stay tuned.
Movement between vessels was routine. Southern Mississippi boating culture, they said, operated on an informal hospitality where even strangers commonly offered rides back to the mainland if asked. The implication advanced was that an open, crowded setting left little opportunity for harm without witnesses. That account of a fluid, public departure is immediately complicated by the details of how Nolan left the group. Warren Hudson recounted Wyatt calmly in an urgent tone. "Nolan, get on the boat now. Get thee on the boat right now. We are leaving." According to Hudson, Nolan shook his head, smiled, and indicated he would remain with a girl and catch a later ride.
So, actually, Wyatt was saying, told Nolan, because Nolan's with this girl at this point. They're together. Wyatt looked at Nolan. He was like, "Dude, come on. Boat's taking on water. We got to go. Like, right now." And Nolan didn't want to go. He said he wanted to stay with the girl. And Wyatt started yelling at him. He's like, "Nolan, get on the boat now." And Nolan's like, "No." And then finally, Wyatt's like, "Nolan, get on the effing boat right now. We are leaving right now." And Nolan said he had another ride back, and we had no more time to waste. We got to get the boat out of there before it goes under.
And it was that. And when Nolan said that, like, was there an issue? Did you believe that Nolan would be able to get back, or were you concerned with, like?
So what I can say is, I've been out countless times on one boat to Horn Island and came back on another. I've done it before where I went out on one boat and my friends left, and I just know so many people out there. I didn't even think about, do I have a ride already set up? I just know so many people out there that I'm like, okay, there's 100% sure I can find a ride back, and which I have before, you know? And it's one of those things where at Horn Island, you don't even have to know somebody to ask for a ride back in.
The young men identified that girl as Katie McCormack, then 19. Yet her sister, Gracie McCormack, later relayed Katie's recollection that diverged sharply. Katie believed Nolan was preparing to board with the same group of friends who were calling to him, and that those friends would not leave him behind. The two versions cannot both be accurate. One places Nolan voluntarily staying behind, the other places him in the process of joining the departing boat. The discrepancy centers on the precise moment separated from him, and on whether any independent confirmation exists of which vessel, if any, he ultimately boarded. Things took a strange turn when the group of friends mentioned their boat trouble. The bilge pump on the boat failed. Water depth inside the bilge, submerging the batteries and causing the electronics to glitch and shut down. They removed the plug at the stern and brought the vessel onto plane, running it at speed so that the force of water passing underneath would draw the accumulated water out through the open plug. This technique is known among boaters for clearing a flooded bilge.
And then we started to see the boat actually sag down in the water, and we're like, okay, what's going on? So there's a cap in the back of the boat that you can unscrew and look at the bilge. When we unscrewed it, there's so much water in the boat, it started overflowing onto the deck. And so at this point, we're like, okay, this boat's going down. It's going down quick.
we don't know where the water's coming in from. We don't know what's going on, and we just went to full on like panic mode. Get this thing out of here now. So we hook up the boats.
No, call Cito.
Okay.
Let's get to that part. Because you call Cito first?
No,
or you had the boats hooked up first?
We had the boats hooked up first.
Yeah. Okay.
So we hook up the boats and we start towing him out. He's on the phone with Cito. Because, hold on, let me go back a second. The electronics completely glitched out. Nothing is working on the boat. There's so much water in there. Nothing is working.
The batteries are also
The batteries are completely underwater. Like they're yeah. Everything's fried, basically. So we have it connected, kind of towing him out, and he's on the phone with Cito, and he's trying to get them on the phone. And as he stated in the moment, he's like, Cito's just asking all these dumb questions. I can't like figure out what's going on. And so finally hangs up, and after the trim motor started to work again. So they manually trim it down by the buttons on the motor, trimmed it down, and some electronics started to come back on. And they got the boat to crank over, and they're like, all right, untie us, because if you can get a boat on plane, suction of the water going underneath it will actually pull all the water out of the bilge if you have the plug out.
The vessel itself was identified as a 22-foot 2022 Triton TRX, though some references listed as 24 feet. GPS data placed the boat leaving the island near 1631. It was towed roughly 2.75 miles before regaining power, after which it ran under its own power at speeds reaching 34 knots and reached the dock around 17:04. A Cito call placed near 16 captured the caller stating that water was rising, that they were going down, that they were in 31 feet of water, that approximately 7 people were aboard, none over 21, and that life jackets were present. The caller declined an offer to contact the Coast Guard. Later, the boat owner's grandfather telephoned Cito again to report that assistance was no longer required. The damage the friends described has never been independently confirmed. Available videos and images of the towing show no evidence of the severe flooding or electrical failure. Restoring a flooded bilge by planning requires both knowledge and physical force, making the rapid resolution difficult to accept without further verification. On and near the island was described by the same speakers as consistently poor and unreliable. One participant stated that reaching his mother required multiple and that a video sent to a friend was only transmitted once they reached shore. Against that backdrop, the successful Cito call, complete with GPS coordinates and a detailed status report, stands as an exception.
On my phone, so I wouldn't check in reception.
It's all satellite. I mean,
yeah.
It's different I've gotten service 80 miles offshore, off of a satellite coming to a oil rig. Yeah, connected to it from the rig. But
it just depends.
I could go to Horn Island and not have any service. I could go there and have service. I mean, I think it's truly different. Every time.
So is it fair to say the service on Horn Island is super spotty?
Yes. Yeah.
And it was just almost by chance, in part, that the call was successful to call Cito.
Unverified audio enhancements circulate online have been claimed by some listeners to contain background utterances resembling Nolan and Wake Up. Those claims remain unauthenticated and have been denied by the friends. The tension between admitted signal failure and a completed emergency call, together with contested audio fragments, leaves open questions about conditions on the water at the moment of separation. A separate inconsistency appears in the recollection of Nolan's clothing. Official missing person notices, and the final photograph described him in navy or dark blue swim trunks, shirtless, and wearing sunglasses. Members of the group initially hesitated on the color, with at least one stating black before correcting to navy.
So, whenever we first realized that Nolan didn't, I'm not gonna say he didn't. When we first realized we don't know where Nolan's at, the first thing we were trying to figure out, or his mom was, what was he wearing? And so we were trying to remember what color his shorts were. We couldn't quite figure that out.
I said black.
Yeah, I think we said black.
I really did. He was wearing navy blue shorts.
Yeah, it was dark blue shorts.
Dark. I just said black because I was trying to piece everything together and help out.
And so at this point, we're freaking out. We don't know where our friend's at. And the girl that took the picture she was like, okay, well, I just took this picture of today. This is what color swim trunks he was wearing. And his mom asked for that to post on Facebook to say, if you've seen him, whatever, this is what he was wearing.
They ultimately relied on a photograph taken with a small non-phone camera belonging to a girl on one of the boat in order to confirm the color for the family. The victim recovered later was still in blue swim trunks. United Cajun Navy issued a correction after earlier reports incorrectly described the clothing as full attire. The group had spent the day in shared activity yet required an external photograph to settle a basic visual detail while simultaneously offering precise accounts of boat mechanics, departure timing, and interpersonal exchanges. The group of friends also discussed the Nolan family's actions toward them, and it wasn't limited to the heated demand for the phone that Warren Hudson had mentioned a few times. The evening of July 4 brought a direct confrontation to Jackson's house. A group of roughly 10 to 15 people arrived after the friends had returned from the island. They came in 4 or 5 vehicles, parked in front of the residence, and entered the living room. The atmosphere was described as confrontational from the outset. The visitors pressed hard for Nolan's location, demanded to know where the boat was, and insisted on its home address. Wyatt eventually provided it.
Okay, so they pull up to my house. And at this point, I'm kind of freaking out. We're all trying to put our heads together on where Nolan is. And I kind of like isolate myself in my room, just kind of get in a ball and just lose it kind of basically for a few hours. And they just walk into my house, you know. And I hear all this commotion going on in my living room, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on? So I walk out there, and there's probably like 10, 15 people in my house I don't even know. And they're all up in our faces, going crazy, asking where Nolan is, and we don't know. And finally they get into Wyatt's face, and they're like, "Where's the boat? Where's the boat at?"
Demanding his address.
Demanding his address and stuff like that. And he finally ends up giving it to him. And then let me go ahead and state though, while they're there, we give them the phone. They have the phone at this point.
While still inside the house, the phone belonging to Nolan was handed over on the spot. Some of the group then left for Wyatt's property to examine the boat itself. Around 1 a.m, Nolan's father or stepfather returned with one other person, this time in a calmer manner, and asked for the keys. The keys were located on the Xbox console and turned over within approximately 30 seconds, the suggestion that they might be there. A portion of the visitors remained in the front yard photographing license plates of the vehicles present. Jackson's brother called the police near 2 a.m. Officers arrived and ordered the group to leave the property. The friends have maintained that both the phone and the keys were surrendered immediately and without extended argument.
Then they get the address to his house. Then they go to his house. And they're searching all over his boat, what I heard and stuff like that. Well, anyways, I don't know much about that, but they come back to my house at around 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's his dad this time. And his dad's being really respectable, really, really nice to me and stuff like that. As long as another friend of theirs, and he's asked me like, where are the keys at? I don't even know where Nolan's keys are at in my house. You know how hard it is to find a set of keys in a house and you don't even know where to start? It's pretty hard. So I start scrambling around my house looking. There's stuff everywhere. Keep in mind, all these people stayed the night in the house before. I'm looking through everything. I can't find the keys. I run back to his father or stepfather, and I was like, I don't know where the keys are. And the guy standing next to him's texting somebody. I guess I was at my house, and he said that they're on the Xbox. So I run in, I see him on the Xbox, grab him off the Xbox, and I go and hand it to him. It's plain and simple. Didn't even take 30 seconds. No trouble at all. So
that they're pushing that there was any argument over the phone or the keys is completely false. So let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just kind of hang around my house, taking pictures of all the cars' license plate in the driveway, stuff like that.
Contains the friend's direct rebuttal of statements attributed to Nolan's mother. Warren Hudson stated that he placed the first telephone call to Christine Wells and that, with witnesses present, he informed her at once that Nolan had left the phone on the boat and that the group was holding it. In their telling, there was never any need for her or anyone else to search or to discover the phone's whereabouts. They characterized later descriptions of having to hunt down the device as distortions of the sequence. They further rejected any suggestion that they were not genuine friends of Nolan, pointing to the frequency with which he stayed at their homes, the familiarity their own parents had with him, and the length of the relationships. On the question of deleted material, they were equally firm. The absence of Snapchat posts or photographs from July 4 did not prove that content had been removed, because many people simply did not use their phones while on the island.
One of the first things I told Miss Christine Wells in the first phone call that ever occurred with anything to do with Nolan Wells being gone, because I was the first person to call Miss Christine about anything. First phone call and anything to do with Nolan Wells was me making a phone call to Christine Wells. And one of the first things I said to her, with multiple witnesses here, pull up the phone call if you want. She said, oh, well, Nolan's location is with y'all at, where the house we were at. And I was like, well, no, he left his phone with us. I told her this. She knew for a fact that we had his phone. And she knew that I told her, yeah, he left it on the boat with us. A bunch of people did. And so I want to make that very clear but Nolan would always be at our house, to stay at our houses. And for his parents to come out and say, oh, well, we don't know these boys. Well, then does that mean you don't know where your kid's staying at night? Because he was staying at our houses. Javon's a friend of mine, friend of ours. Not as tight as Nolan. Javon's in the class under me in school, and he's a friend of mine. But just like a lot of our other friends, Javon's our friend. He left the phone on the boat. We're trustworthy people. We're not going to steal something. We're not going to delete pictures off of his phone. We're not going to delete text messages. We're not going to get on anyone's phone because we have no reason to.
The location of the phone itself was described in consistent terms across the group's statements. Nolan, along with others, including Javon, left devices on the dashboard of the boat rather than carry them into the water, citing salt, murky conditions, and the risk of damage. Approximately 15 phones, some belonging to people whose identities were not recalled, remained on the boat during the time ashore. After the return to the phones were moved from the boat into vehicles and then into the house. The friends stated that no one among them knew Nolan's passcode and therefore could not unlock the device. They asserted they had no reason to attempt access, and that the only handling consisted of relocating the phone from the boat to the car or house and then handing it over when requested. One of them put the point this way: if any of them handed over their own phone at that moment, the others would be unable to open it. They added that other phones left on the boat that day were returned in the same manner.
Okay, guys, we are going back to the trial of Tupac Shakur and the 3D situation. So please hit the like button and let's get it. Wait a minute. Okay, which one? Oh, here it is. Which one is it? Give me a second, guys. Oh, it's ticket. Oh no, this is not the one. Oh, hold on, guys. They still out on. This is through somebody else. I don't want to watch this live. So y'all stay tuned, guys.
To do anything with Nolan's phone other than get back to Christine and her friends later that night. So anything about missing text messages or Snapchats is completely false.
That's a veteran trial lawyer. That is Tyler Cox. He's representing the young men that were on the boat that took Nolan to Horn Island and came back without Nolan, according to them. Joining me in All-Star panel, I'm not saying Cox is right or wrong, but what I am saying out to Brandon Tatum. Tatum, former police officer, Tucson, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. He has interviewed Nolan's acquaintances that were on the boat that day. Officer Tatum, thank you for being with us. Let me talk about this one moment. We've got so much to get to. I'm going to try to be brief. Tyler, I don't think they cooperated at all. I think he's talking about Nolan's family. They, I guess, the sheriff's office haven't had access to Nolan's phone. Well, can't they subpoena that? It's called a subpoena ducus tecum. You're familiar with those. You've testified in court. A subpoena ducus tecum is, we hear about subpoenas for testimony. I've been subpoenaed. Yes, go to court and tell the truth. A subpoena ducus tecum is for an item, an object, a document. The sheriff can give out a subpoena ducus tecum or get a warrant for an object. So, you don't have it? Fine, get it.
These claims about the phone became a focal point in the latest analysis of Nancy Grace. Tyler Cox, speaking on behalf of the friends, stated that the family had not cooperated at all and that nothing was missing from the phone. Nancy Grace identified the internal contradiction. If the friends maintained they had never accessed the device, then Cox could not know with certainty that no texts, photographs, or Snapchat material had been removed. The assertion, she noted, cut both ways. She then turned to the investigative process itself. If the phone was material to a criminal, law enforcement possessed ordinary legal tools, a subpoena duces tecum or a search warrant, to obtain it regardless of any party's willingness. The fact that the device had not yet been formally seized, she observed, did not mean it could not be seized.
I'll add this. When you look at what Christine said.
Brandon, whoa, bit. I'm going to go right back to what you're saying, but you're saying a lot, and I want to address each thing so we don't leave anything out. Number one, you just stated that, basically. Correct me, you can paraphrase this any way you want to. It looks really bad for Nolan's family not to hand over the phone. Do you have any independent knowledge they have not handed over the phone?
According to their lawyer that wrote a statement, and the statement was prepared to cooperate, but that was as of the 11th. Therefore, they have not cooperated. Tyler Cox has made mention that he don't believe they cooperated whatsoever. He don't believe they cooperated whatsoever as well. So
extrapolating, you're taking the words, Tatum, that their words that they're prepared to cooperate to mean they haven't handed over the phone.
And a potential drowning, and there's no criminal element involved, and the parents are refusing to give over the phone, they don't believe it's any material evidence there. No, I'm saying this is what the law enforcement agency.
These questions anymore.
Nancy, this is what the law enforcement. I'm giving you a law enforcement perspective.
Nobody said Nolan. You know what? We're really chasing our tails here. We don't know that Nolan's family has refused to hand over the phone. My simple question to you is, law enforcement, if they want the phone, get a warrant for the phone. Go get the phone. Or
Nancy,
communicate to the family, give me the phone.
Nancy Grace also examined the circumstances under which Nolan became separated from his phone. She described it as unusual for a teenager to leave the device behind and then depart the island without it, even while acknowledging the practical reasons for not carrying a phone into the water. The boat, she pointed out, left without the phone on Nolan's person. When Officer Tatum referenced the family's public statement that they were prepared to cooperate and treated that language as evidence the phone had not been turned over, Nancy Grace pressed him repeatedly. She asked whether he possessed any independent knowledge that the phone remained outside law enforcement custody. She required him to acknowledge he was drawing an inference from the phrasing rather than from confirmed fact. At several points, she interrupted attempts to characterize the family as having refused cooperation, stating that the public record at that stage remained unclear and that it was possible the phone was already in the hands of investigators. She underscored that speculation casting the family as uncooperative lacked solid grounding until an official confirmation existed.
Officer Tatum, number one, they did not take Polly's. Number two, Warren, as you refer to him, did not take analysis. Why did he not take a voice analysis? Number one. And number two, since we spoke on this last, have they taken Polly's? And if not, why not?
Okay, let me just make sure internet went in a frenzy about this. It's a computer voice stress analysis, but I was referring to none of this is admissible in court, and I don't think it has the weight to concern anybody or whether or not anyone took it or not. I just thought it was important to show the cooperation that they had. Even more cooperation, I believe, almost than the Nolan family. I mean, the boys have given their phones over to the FBI voluntarily. We still haven't gotten Nolan's phone from the family to the police. So,
are you back on the phone? Because you don't know. You've already said you don't know where the phone is. It could be sitting on the sheriff's desk for all I know.
If they did it in the last 10 minutes, maybe that could be true.
Oh, so you knew before you joined us tonight that Nolan had not handed over the phone?
Well, I have no information to believe it was handed over. The last report from their attorneys that they hadn't handed it over.
So that was your quote understanding, just like you had an understanding that they took a poly and then clarified they did not take a poly. Okay, they have not taken a poly. You don't know why Warren hasn't taken a test. And a computer stress test is a voice analysis. It's not the same as a poly. You also, I asked you earlier, are you a medical examiner? And you stated no. I know YouTube. I know you have a huge following. I know you're highly popular. I know you're a former police officer. Are you a Juris Doctor? Are you a lawyer?
Nancy Grace repeatedly highlighted inconsistencies in the statements offered by Officer Tatum during the broadcast. Early in the discussion, Tatum asserted, based on his understanding, that most of the young men had taken polygraph examinations and passed them, with the exception of Warren. He added that they had done so without attorneys present and had cooperated fully. When pressed for precision, Tatum corrected the record. The tests were not traditional polygraphs but computer voice stress analysis. Warren, he then stated, had not undergone the examination at all. Nancy Grace noted that this was not the first time Tatum had presented information with certainty only to revise it on air, drawing a parallel to his earlier inference that the family had not turned over Nolan's phone solely from the phrase, "We're prepared to cooperate." Nancy further observed that Tatum frequently opened significant claims with the phrase "understanding," or "according to what they told me," then advanced conclusions that later required softening under direct questioning. One such contradiction involved the phones. Tatum stated that the young men had voluntarily surrendered their own devices to the FBI for forensic extraction, while simultaneously asserting with certainty that Nolan's family had not yet provided Nolan's phone, even while acknowledging he possessed no independent confirmation of that fact. Nancy Grace used the image of a jar of muddy water to illustrate the current state of public information, still opaque, and therefore unsuitable for firm conclusions. Two digital forensic specialists were then brought into the discussion. Heather Barnhart, a specialist associated with Celebrite and co-author of Practical Mobile Forensics, explained that data residing in cloud services such as iCloud or third-party applications can survive even after deletion from the physical device. To establish whether deletion actually occurred, however, a full file system extraction from the handset itself remains essential. That is where original artifacts and deletion traces reside.
Data will exist in the cloud if he's syncing to iCloud and third-party applications. However, having physical access is where the databases exist that will have the truth on deletion. So you need to get a full file system extraction of his phone as quickly as possible. So if it's not handed over to authorities now, it needs to be, because this was over a month ago now.
Do you have to have the phone to do the extraction? What about the cloud?
Different, and there's a lot of information there. There could be unique information on the phone if anything was removed, but it's best to have both cloud and the phone to paint the entire pattern of behavior and to see the truth.
Cloud material alone cannot complete the picture. Both sources are required, and time is critical. More than a month had already elapsed. Tanya Jordan, a parental control and technology specialist, added that unopened Snapchat photographs and video can remain on Snapchat servers for up to 30 days.
If you send a photo or video and the other person hasn't opened it yet, it sits live on Snap's server for up to 30 days. Same with unread texts. Now, if law enforcement sends Snapchat a valid legal request before the message is deleted, Snapchat will freeze that data and hand it over. But if the message was already deleted before the police asked for it, Snapchat apparently cannot retrieve it.
The message or image has been deleted before an official request is made. Recovery from the platform is often impossible. On an iPhone, deleted images typically remain in the recently deleted folder for at least 30 days. Digital traces, she noted, are difficult to erase completely. Even users who believe they have removed material may coverable remnants that specialized tools can still locate. Both experts agreed that thorough forensic examination retains the capacity to detect deletion activity when it has occurred. The same interview with Officer Tatum also contained the young men's account, own search efforts, and subsequent cooperation. On the evening of July 4, after speaking with Nolan's mother, they contacted the Coast Guard. The following morning, several of them, including Wyatt, Track, and Morgan, returned to the island by boat. They encountered
You look for Nolan. Can you explain how did that happen? Who was looking for Nolan? Who was on the boat? Was it multiple boats? Was it one boat? Okay, can you explain that? Who was out of this group? Who was on what boat, or who was on a boat or not, going out and looking for Nolan?
So, me, Wyatt, and Trayson got in the boat. We got in the Palm Beach that morning, the morning after, and we rode out islands, and we were met by a DMR. There was seven DMR boats already out there, DMR and park rangers. We talked to them. We gave them all of our information. They personally asked if any of us were on the boat with him that day. We told them yes. They just said, all right, well, I mean, we got the area scoped out. And then after that, we just went up to the beach. I think we met up with y'all in the water.
I took my boat out with Jax.
Yeah.
A couple friends of mine, and then my mom and my stepdad, and the sheriff's department, everybody else including the FBI. Anything to do with wanted to help out, and that's what we did. We gave our phones up, and like Jack stated, we literally have nothing to hide. So.
Yeah. And everybody gave their phones up.
Correct.
Yep. Be forensically evaluated by the FBI.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Upon returning from the water, they received telephone calls from investigators and were scheduled for interviews, some on the 6th, others on the 7th. They stated that their accounts began with the night 3 and covered the entire sequence of July 4 in detail, including minor points such as what they had eaten for breakfast. Tatum at several points suggested that investigators might be treating the death as a drowning and therefore might not require a search warrant for the phone. Nancy Grace observed that Tatum is not a medical examiner, that, at the time of the broadcast, the official cause of death had not been publicly released. Reports circulating at that stage still listed it as undetermined, characterized any assumption that the case was already classified as a pure drowning and premature. The pattern of statements introduced with qualifying language, later revised under scrutiny, and the early conclusions drawn while forensic results remained unpublished. The family of Nolan Wells and their attorneys took place on the 13th of August 2026 during the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Atlanta. Representatives of the family stated that they accept the preliminary findings of the independent autopsy performed by Dr. Roger A. Mitchell on the 10th of July 2026. That examination listed both the cause and manner of death as pending further investigation. Legal steps taken by the family and counsel were outlined in sequence. Preservation letters had been sent to multiple parties in the early stages of the matter. Those letters employed the standard phrase that litigation is reasonably anticipated in order to secure the retention of evidence. The purpose was protection and independent investigation underway and digital forensics. Because Horn Island is federal land, the family requested a federal review by the Department of Justice and the FBI. On August 11, the attorneys, including Ahmad Smith and Ben Crump, delivered a written commitment, stating they were ready and willing to arrange a joint forensic examination of Nolan's phone with the district attorney's office. That examination is intended to occur once, with experts from both sides and possible participation by the FBI. A formal letter from the Congressional Black Caucus had already been transmitted.
Somebody saw something. I'm thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton and Mr. Tyler Perry and Terrell Owens and Byron Allen putting up these rewards. I understand others have not put up rewards, and that's means we all have the same objective. We want the truth about what happened to Nolan, and it is urgent. It is urgent because each goes by, you worry, will we ever get to the truth? And so that's why we want to thank for calling on the federal authorities and anybody else who has resources to help this family get to what happened to their son. I know I was talking to Kristen Clark, and she said, no, let's make sure that all taxpayers' money that goes to support federal resources apply to our children too. I mean, let's say that nobody should say, oh, it doesn't matter that much because no, it matters. All of our children matter. And so we are going to continue every day to say his name, Attorney Hertz, Attorney Park, Attorney Smith, trying to work with the local district attorney to give them what they need to do a thorough, fair, full, impartial investigation. That's what we're asking for.
Ben Crump restated the single focus that had guided the family's position from the first day. He repeated the formulation, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The objective, he said, remained truth and
I think he was rather.
4,000 pages, y'all. Right?
LAPD believes that Mr. Davis is involved. I have no problem with that instruction.
Did you want a contemporaneous instruction, or do you want that to be included in the jury instruction packet, Mr. Stamps?
I think it should be something of an impression right now, so
Okay.
contemporaneous instruction on it.
So the suggestion was neither the court nor LAPD believe
At this point.
that Mr. Davis was involved in any way in the death. Does that work?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so they just agreed to a stipulation that they're going to read to the jury.
Man, what?
We try the case at issue and a true verdict render.
Attorneys to talk to you.
Yeah, I think he was rather.
while the cause of death was still undetermined and the investigation.
Attorneys to talk to you.
Okay, let's bring in the jury.
Yeah, a lot of people went home.
Stand for the jury.
Yeah, towards the end of the day.
All right, so the parties stick with the defense of the jury?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Before we go back to Mr. Miller's testimony, I did want to admonish you as follows. Neither the court nor the LAPD believe at this point that Mr. Davis was involved in the death of Mr. Wallace. I want that to be clear. Going back to you, Mr. Giacomo, you may proceed with Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
So you receive information that Davis could potentially be your suspect. Is that accurate? I think that's where we left off.
That's correct.
And you also receive information that potentially Mr. Davis feels like he's owed money by either Mr. Wallace or Puffy Combs' Bad Boy Records. Combs' Bad Boy Records. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You also learn that he was driving or ticketed on March 8th of 1997, a black 1996 Chevy Impala SS. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so based upon all of that, do you, along with, well, on May 27th of 1997, Compton PD issued a search warrant at 1524 California. And then on the 28th, you get a warrant to search the vehicle, the 1996 Chevy Impala, correct?
Correct.
And the vehicle was actually registered to a Patrick Parker. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Eventually, fast forward to June 20th of 1997, do you and your partner, Detective Poole, wind up having a conversation with Mr. Davis at his lawyer's office, Edie Fall?
That's correct.
Judge, I've had marked as 116 as well as Poole, so it's two sides of a tape. 108 and 109, which is transcripts, the audio and the transcripts. I'd offer them at this point.
No objection.
All right, those will be admitted, and further, pursuant to your stipulation, we're going to play those after Mr. Miller's done testifying, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, during the execution of that search warrant that you did, in the trunk of the vehicle, did you collect a Polaroid photograph?
Yes, I did.
And I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you see that Polaroid?
Yes, I can.
And is that the Polaroid that you collected out of the vehicle?
That's correct.
I move to admit 66.
Any
No
objection?
objection, Honor.
So admitted?
I pass the witness.
That's it?
Mr. Santos?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It?
This Polaroid that's on screen right now, which is state 66 that you see in front of you,
I'm sorry to understand your question. Can't hear you very well. You're breaking out just a little bit.
I apologize. So this exhibit that you see in front of you right now, do you see the Polaroid still, which is State's Exhibit 66 for the record?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what this means?
What it means?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Polaroid. Is there anything about this particular photograph that means anything?
I really don't get your questions. I just mean a group of guys together who enjoyed themselves, apparently.
Right. Can you tell us when that photograph was taken?
No, I can't.
Can you tell us where that photograph was taken?
No.
In terms of the clothing that everyone's wearing at this particular point, do you know if that was how Mr. Davis dressed normally?
I have no idea. Mr. Davis dresses normally.
Now, this photograph that was taken from the '96 Chevy Impala, that was pursuant to your search warrant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were looking for evidence that would help you substantiate as to who was responsible for the murder of Biggie Smalls, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us how this photograph helps you learn any more information as to who killed Biggie Smalls?
It may not be the actual person, but it may be one of the people that lead us to who did pull that trigger.
All right. So who are the other people that are in the photograph?
I don't recall the names. Orlando Anderson was one, and I don't recall the others.
Okay. But fairly, of course, there's a Polaroid with these people in there. It would have been part of your job as a detective at the time to look into and identify who those other individuals are, correct?
Yes.
And that didn't happen in this case?
I believe we did find out there was 3 or 4 more.
All right. And once again, did it help you solve the murder of Biggie Smalls?
No.
And fair to say, though, even though we've been talking about Mr. Dwayne Davis as somebody that was a potential target for your investigation, ultimately, at the end of the day, he was never charged with the Biggie Smalls.
Target?
That's correct.
Now, in addition to that, fair to say that in your course and scope as a detective, when you do your investigations, you would have ran Mr. Davis's criminal history as part of your investigation, right?
Yes, sir.
Was there any indication on any of his criminal history that he'd ever been arrested or charged or convicted of any violent felony?
I don't recall.
Now, in addition to that, sir, your testimony here is that you did an investigation on Mr. Davis. Did you ever at any point look into the actual Impala itself? You said it was owned by somebody else, a Patrick Parker. Is that correct?
It wasn't owned by someone other than Mr. Davis, yes.
And with regard to that, did you ever interview Mr. Parker?
I do not recall.
And when you went to 1524, what's the purpose of going to that particular address?
I'm sorry, what?
You said you went to 1524 California. I apologize. That was my bad. But you went to 1524 California. Why to that address?
Because that's where we heard that Mr. Davis lived and that we'd had area units go by and observed the black Chevy Impala parked in the back. That's why.
Did you ever search the 1524 California residence?
Peace and blessings to everyone in the building. We still waiting on the, hold on.
Any questions for this witness by the jurors? We do have at least one, so hang on with us, Mr. Miller, while we go through the question process.
Thank you.
Okay, the parties approach.
Sir, you had told us earlier that there was some indication that you believe
The difference I'm going to take over Texas because
He was, like I said, I do not recall whether he was interviewed or not. He was not by me that I remember.
Okay. Any follow-up, Mr. DiGiacomo?
No.
Any follow-up, Mr. Sim?
What did you know? And then the defense cross-examined, right, by attempting to belittle each witness, establish that, hey, my client didn't do it. And so it depends upon that dynamic, right, with respect to how long the prosecution goes, how long the defense goes, how muddled up that is, how many witnesses are actually called. I should say that, yes, you have, there's hundreds of witnesses, but generally just because you notice the actual judge that there's going to be this numerous amount of witnesses,
Obvious it was a Polaroid photo afterwards because it was not a full photograph he took. We didn't take those kind of photographs at an autopsy. We had no reason to.
But needless to say, you yourself had concerns about the security of the information as it relates to the investigation.
Yes.
Going back to exhibit number 125, it says on September 8th at 9:46 a.m. it appears the Monte Carlo was called, correct?
Correct.
And Judge, I have marked state's proposed exhibit number 126, which is a certified copy of a record from the Monte Carlo I offer.
Any objection?
If I can have a moment, please.
Yeah. Okay, there'll be a minute.
Detective, I'm going to try and do this, change the screen for you, and now put 126 up on the screen. Ooh. Apparently screen sharing has stopped. Put it up first and then I gotta go back to you and hit. Can you see that now?
Now I do. There's a little delay, but it's a affidavit of custodian of records again.
Now this is the Monte Carlo, and I'm going to jump down to the first page. There's the name Corey Edwards at
Corey Edwards,
1301 East Sloan.
Okay.
And it looks like he arrived and departed Friday the 6th into Saturday the 7th. See that on the right side?
I see that.
And I'm going to roll down here, a few pages in. Do you a little bit here for you?
No, I can see the writing. The Excalibur. Well, go back.
Yeah, I gotta go back.
It zoomed too much.
There you go.
Okay, Excalibur, Sahara, and Luxor. That's my handwriting.
And so does that suggest to you that you took this record and checked to see
where those phone numbers.
The local phone numbers are being called on it. And I'm going to roll down.
Yes, so the Excalibur was September 7th at 10:01 a.m. Sahara, September 7th at 10:26, and Luxor was at September 7th at 10:32 a.m.
Middle name of David Keith that might have worked at the MGM.
Yes, we learned. Well, it would have been related because of the name of Davion Brooks, who apparently was a Southside Compton Crip, and he was a fair-skinned black male, and we thought he kind of, and he was the person that the pen register place. It was south. I can't tell you the address right off the bat. It was south of Tropic and Coal, because all we had, I think, was a cell phone or something, and we did the pen register, but David Keith's name came up somehow in that as a worker in Las Vegas. And for some reason, I'm going off the top of my head without the report. We had a full-size Blazer, because I used to own a full-size Blazer, and there was an address in Las Vegas, and I know we went out and checked that address, but it turned out nothing was there. We couldn't determine anything, but that's how that all came about, David Keith. And I know that we ended up, because we couldn't find Davion Brooks, at the time, I don't know what they got now, we had a thing called Scope, which the people would get their sheriff's cards or criminal history would go in there, and we could flag a person. So if they were stopped by officers or arrested, that we could be notified. And so we had flagged Davion Brooks, and I believe eventually we must have been down because I was out of town, but Mike Franks and Kevin Manning went and interviewed him.
So at this point, we have the names of Orlando Anderson, you have the name of Corey Edwards, you have the name of Davion Brooks, you have the name of Davion Keith. Kind of fast forward, but in November of 96, well, let me ask you this. Of all the people you interviewed in that car behind, was there anybody who said he thought he could make an identification?
Fula, from what I remember, thought he could ID someone possibly. I thought it was the driver, but I'd have to look at the report. He's the only person that thought they could possibly identify someone. I don't recall anybody saying they could ID the shooter. Frank Alexander, Malcolm Greenidge, Katari Cox were more or less more of the dark arm kind of thing.
When in November of 96 in New Jersey, did something happen to Yafula?
Unfortunately, Yafula was murdered. We were notified, I want to say it was Orange, New or in that area. We learned that Yafula had been murdered. This was after we had made several attempts, because Death Row Records, David Kenner, who was the attorney, they had told us that if we needed to talk to anybody from the Outlaws or anybody, that we needed to contact them to make arrangements. And somewhere in the reports, there's several attempts were made to try the runaround on that.
I want to fast forward to March 9th of 1997. Did you become aware that another famous rapper by the name of Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls, also known as B.I.G., was killed outside the Peterson Automotive Museum, Jules.
Yes.
And LAPD was responsible for that investigation.
Correct.
Do you have contact with Fred Miller, one of the lead detectives from LAPD?
Yes.
And then shortly thereafter, March 17th or so, did you attempt to contact, well, let me ask this, did you contact Frank Alexander to do photo lineups?
Yes, Mike Franks and I went down and we met Frank Alexander, if that's what the report, around March 17th, down in Orange County somewhere, California. And I had taken probably, I think it was 10 photo lineups that we had prepared, because I had since the shooting and all, Frank had kind of turned around. I think he had gone cross with death row. Things turned around and he was willing to meet with us, and that's when I showed him the photo lineups.
Judge, and I talked to Mr. Sam about having to lay the foundation of each one of these with Mr. Sam, but I have in my hand those 10 photo lineups, which are marked 76 through 85.
No objection there. No objection to admission?
Yes.
All right, they'll be admitted then.
And I'm going to start with number 10, which is 85. Oops. I have to go in and out here a few times. But each of these photo lineups that you have done here, did you have a reason why you had these particular people in photo lineups?
Main players that were in these photo lineups were, well, obviously Orlando Anderson was in there because of the beatdown at the MGM. I mean, and because of the information we'd acquired from Compton. Then the other people, I think Darnell Brim might have been in one of those because his name had come up. Doyce's name was in there. Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith. There's another Davis. I think it's Dwayne Davis's brother, or he's related to him somehow. Is it Kevin Davis, I think?
Let me just share my screen and we'll go through each one by one, okay?
Yeah. I just remember there were 10 of them, and there was each person that was in the lineup, there was a reason for them being in there. Just to cover our bases. We had particular we were looking at, but we wanted to cover the basis of everybody that come up.
So on these lineups, this is page 1, page 2, and then on the bottom, page 3 has the names of the people that are in each of those positions. Is that fair?
Those are the lineup records, yes.
It shows on March 17th of 1997, you would have created the photo lineup record. That's your name down there?
Yes.
And this one, the suspect is number 6, Dwayne Davis.
Yeah, and I guess I probably spelled his name wrong.
And if we go to picture number 6,
that's Dwayne Davis. He's younger. I mean, obviously, it's been a long
30
time.
years ago, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Now, at this point in time, when you're showing these photo lineups, did you have a theory as to who was in this vehicle?
An idea from indication we didn't have any budget for to say anything in particular.
Okay. And who was it? Who did you think was in the car?
Well, the force that we were leaning on was Dwayne Davis, Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson. Those again, those are just the names we had.
Right. You had no live witness to tell you.
We personally didn't have that. I mean, I guess everybody else, but saying, and I believe the CRI is even thrown out.
Can I go to exhibits 87 through 91, which are no objection. Sorry, no objection.
They'll be there.
Thank you. So let me start for just a minute, but let me pull up the law first.
Did the party submit to the presence of the jury?
Yes, sir.
You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hopefully you were able to get everything situated over the long weekend, and we look forward to proceeding with trial. We do need to have you sworn, so if I could have you all stand and raise your right hand. Introduce you and each of you